Hey, mustard on the beat, ho, Debo. Any rap, he a free throw. Man down, calling Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro. Nail it to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass? Trying to see Compton. The industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama. How many ups you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this, buddy. I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up the scope with him. Walk him down, the whole time I know we got some hoe on him. Pull on him, extort shit, bully death row on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You bet not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chuck's the only one that get your hand-me-downs. And party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baca got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boy, certified pedophiles. Wop 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 wop. Dot fuck him up. Wop 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably a minor. They're not like us. 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 Doodle-doo, 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 Boom, 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 boom. Da 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 do 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 do. Do 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 do. Boom 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 boom. Psst, I see dead people. Boo 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 doo 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 doo. Mustard on the beat, ho Debo. Any rap, he a free throw. Man down, calling amber lamps, tell him breathe, bro. Nail it to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass? Trying to see Compton. The industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama. How many ups you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this, buddy. I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up the score with him. Walk him down, the whole time I know he got some hoe on him. Pull on him, extort shit, bully death row on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You bet not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs. And party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baca got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boy, certified pedophiles. Wop 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 wop. Dot fuck him up. Wop 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably a minor. They're not like us. 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 Okay. I don't know if anyone's in chat currently. I can't see it. But I'm just going to make sure that I get Monday's chapter recorded today while I have the time to do so. I gotta sit the mouse down. Run to the bathroom real quick. I'll pull up chat in the on my phone. But we're gonna record this chapter, and then we'll hop into things, I think. I had to pee, Crown. I have needs, you know. I have needs. Hey, go lay down. Lay down. Okay. Got my drink. I'm waiting for the laptop to start working. God. Lemon lime is not tasting the way I want it to. That's for shizzle. All right. The speech chat laptop is going to it's going to boot up while check Discord. Oh no. The laptop's going to boot up while I am doing this. The stream is for kids and has no chat. Oh no. That's terrible. That's just awful. How could that happen? How could this happen? Okay. So we're just going to swap over to regular stream now. And I'm going to I have to go straight to YouTube because I can't edit in Restream. All right. Let's see here. I got to go all the way up here to view channel.
I had to manually edit the title of this video earlier. Very frustrating that it that it's marked for chitlins. No, it's not made for kids. Save. Good Lord. I hate that. Okay. 3Gun, can you test it out now? Just make sure that, make sure that you can chat. I'm opening up the actual video. Okay. Yeah. Everyone lost mod privileges. What's going on Twitch? Good Lord. Okay. All right. We're gonna address this after I record this chapter. We're gonna deal with that. Jesus Christ. Another setup stream? Really? We have to do this? Okay. All right. Let's read the book. Okay. We're going to move this over. We're going to move this over. I have this open so I can edit. Okay. I think that covers it. As long as I can hit the record button and it not pause everything, I think we should be good. I don't know where I sat my phone, but it doesn't really matter because I don't need to be looking at it while I'm recording. So, actually, I could check it between. I could check it between takes, just so that I'm interacting with y'all. Okay. Why mod go bye-bye? That's weird. Is that only on Twitch? That mod privileges have been rescinded? We may have a mad mod hatter in our midst. Yes, the book dungeon. Hi Nemo. Hi Nemo, hi French Fry, hi Crown, hi 3Gun. We are going to get into it. I'm going to put the mouse up there. Actually, I need it in my hand. Okay. We'll put the phone not up there. Just in my pocket, I think. Or no. I can just sit it in front of me. Okay. Here we go. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hi. We're back. We're also live. So if you want to see if you want to hear the chapter as soon as it comes out, maybe occasionally I will just read stuff live. I just wanted to get in front of the schedule. So I figured, while I'm already doing the live stream is probably the best time to get in front of the schedule. Yeah, that's it. Obviously live streamers see it first today, but then members see it first. So if you wanna hear the book before other people, do the member thing. All right. Here we go. We're back. "12. What I saw of the destruction of Weybridge and Shepperton. As the dawn grew brighter, we withdrew ourselves from the window from which we had watched the Martians and went very quietly downstairs. The artilleryman agreed with me that the house was no place to stay in. He proposed, he said, to make his way Londonward and thence rejoin his battery, number 12 of the Horse Artillery. My plan was to return at once to Leatherhead, and so greatly had the strength of the Martians impressed me that I had determined to take my wife to New Haven and go with her out of the country forthwith. For I already perceived clearly that the country about London must inevitably be the scene of a disastrous struggle before such creatures as these could be destroyed. Between us and Leatherhead, however, lay the third cylinder, with its guarding giants. Had I been alone, I think I should have taken my chance and struck across the country. But the artilleryman dissuaded me. "It's no kindness to the right sort of wife," he said, "to make her a widow." And in the end I agreed to go with him, under cover of the woods, northward as far as Street Cobham before I parted with him. Thence I would make a big detour by Epsom to reach Leatherhead. I should have started at once, but my companion had been in active service, and he knew better than that. He made me ransack the house for a flask, which he filled with whiskey, and we lined every available pocket with packets of biscuits and slices of meat. Then we crept out of the house and ran as quickly as we could down the ill-made road by which I had come overnight. The houses seemed deserted. In the road lay a group of 3 charred bodies close together, struck dead by the heat ray, and here and there were things that people had dropped: a clock, a slipper, a silver spoon, and the like poor valuables. At the corner turning up towards the post office, a little cart filled with boxes and furniture, and horseless, heeled over on a broken wheel. A cash box had been hastily smashed open and thrown under the debris. Except the lodge at the orphanage, which was still on fire, none of the horses had suffered very greatly there. The heat ray had shaved the chimney tops and passed. Yet, save ourselves, there did not seem to be a living soul on Maybury Hill. The majority of the inhabitants had escaped, I suppose, by way of the old Woking road, the road I had taken when I drove to Leatherhead, or they had hidden. We went back down the lane by the body of the man in black. Okay, let's pause that. We went down the lane by the body of the man in... Oh, the man in black that they had passed earlier. I thought I read that wrong. Shout out 3Gun. No shout out while I'm recording, so sorry. Okay, everybody's talking about snow and everybody's fine. Great. Love it. Okay. We went down the lane by the body of the man in black, sod now. Okay. That was a good first take. That was pretty solid. Okay. We went down the lane by the body of the man in black, sodden now from the overnight hail, and broke into the woods at the foot of the hill. We pushed through these towards the railway without meeting a Fuck. Okay, so I'm going to delete that one and just start from the top, so it's not worth the edit. It'll save me more time in the long run. Okay. Brah. went down the lane by the body of the man in black, sodden now from the overnight hail, and broke into the woods at the foot of the hill. We pushed through these towards the railway without meeting a soul. The woods across the line were but the scarred and blackened ruins of woods. For the most part, the trees had fallen, but a certain proportion still stood, dismal gray stems with dark brown foliage instead of green. On our side, the fire had done no more than scorch the nearer trees. It had failed to secure its footing. In one place, the woodmen had been at work on Saturday. Trees, felled and freshly trimmed, lay in a clearing, with heaps of sawdust by the sawing machine and its engine. Hard by was a temporary hut, deserted. There was not a breath of wind this morning, and everything was strangely still. Even the birds were hushed, and as we hurried along, I and the artillerymen talked in whispers, and looked now and again over our shoulders. Once or twice we stopped to listen. After a time we drew near the road, and as we did so we heard the clatter of hooves, and saw through the tree stems 3 cavalry soldiers riding slowly towards Woking. We hailed them, and they halted while we hurried towards them. It was a lieutenant and a couple of privates of the 8 Hussars, with a stand like a... Nope. I'm gonna... Theodolite, I think, is going to be the pronunciation for that. Theodolite. Can I get the pronunciation, though? Theodolite? Theodolite. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It was a lieutenant and a couple of privates of the 8th Hussars, or Hussars. I think it's Hussars. It was a lieutenant and a couple of privates of the 8 Hussars, with a stand like a theodolite. Okay. It's gotta roll off the tongue there, bud. Like I know the word. Okay. Oh, didn't record. Not Theovanolite. Okay. Let's turn the volume off so that's not picking up. Fuck, it started recording. It did start recording, son of a bitch. Alright. Just gonna make sure that doesn't stay. Okay. Here we go. It was a lieutenant and a couple of privates of the 8 Hussars, with a stand like a theodolite, which the artillerymen told me was a heliograph. You were the first men I've seen coming this way this morning, said the lieutenant. What's brewing? His voice and face were eager. The men behind him stared curiously. The artillerymen jumped down the bank into the road and saluted. Gun destroyed last night, sir. Have been hiding. Trying to rejoin battery, sir. You'll come in sight of the Martians, I expect, about a half-mile along this road. What the dickens are they like? Asked the lieutenant. Giants in armor, sir. 100 feet high. 3 legs and a body like luminium. Okay. Giants in armor. Giants in armor, sir. 100 feet high. 3 legs and a body like luminium, with a mighty great head and a hood, sir. Get out, said the lieutenant. What confounded nonsense! You'll see, sir. They carry a kind of box, sir, that shoots fire and strikes you dead. What do you mean, a gun? No, sir. And the artilleryman began a vivid account of the heat ray. Halfway through, the lieutenant interrupted him and looked up at me. I was still standing on the bank by the side of the road. Did you see it? Said the lieutenant. It's perfectly true, I said. Well, said the lieutenant, I suppose it's my business to see it too. Look here, to the artilleryman. We're detailed here. Okay. This is a lot. Okay. Well, said the lieutenant, I suppose it's my business to see it too. Look here, to the artilleryman. We're detailed here clearing people. We're detailed here clearing people out of their homes. Okay. Well, said the lieutenant, I suppose it's my business to see it too. Look here, to the artilleryman. We're detailed here clearing people out of their houses. You better go along and report yourself to Brigadier General Marvin and tell him all you know. He's at Weybridge. Know the way? I do, I said, and he turned his horse southward again. 1/2 mile, you say? Said he. At most, I answered, and pointed over the treetops southward. He thanked me and rode on, and we saw them no more. Further along, we came upon a group of 3 women and 2 children in the road, busy clearing out a laborer's cottage. They'd got hold of a little hand truck and were piling it up with unclean-looking bundles and shabby furniture. They were all too assiduously engaged to talk to us as we passed. By Byfleet Station, we emerged from the pine trees and found the country calm and peaceful under the morning sunlight. We were far beyond the range of the heat ray there, and had it not been for the silent desertion of some of the houses, the stirring movement of packing in others, and the knot of soldiers standing on the bridge over the railway and staring down the line towards Woking, the day would have seemed very like any other Sunday. Several farm wagons and carts were moving creakily along the road to Addleston, and suddenly, through the gate of a field we saw, across a stretch of flat meadow, 6 12-pounders, standing neatly at equal distances and pointing towards Woking. The gunners stood by the guns waiting, and the ammunition wagons were at a business-like distance. The men stood almost as if under inspection. "That's good," said I. "They will get one fair shot, at any rate." The artilleryman hesitated at the gate. "I shall go on," he said. Further on, towards Weybridge, just over the bridge, there were a number of men in white fatigue jackets throwing up a long rampart, and more guns behind. "It's bows and arrows against the lightning, anyhow," said the artilleryman. "They haven't seen that fire beam yet." The officers who were not actively engaged stood and stared over the treetops southwestward, and the men digging would stop every now and again to stare in the same direction. Byfleet was in a tumult, people packing, and a score of hussars, Some of them dismounted, some on horseback, were hunting them about. 3 or 4 black government wagons with crosses and white circles and an old omnibus, among other vehicles, were being loaded in the village street. There were scores of people, most of them sufficiently sabbatical to have assumed their best clothes. The soldiers were having the greatest difficulty in making them realize the gravity of their position. We saw one shriveled old fellow with a huge box and a score or more of flower pots containing orchids, angrily expostulating with the corporal who would leave them behind. I stopped and gripped his arm. "Do you know what's over there?" I said, pointing at the pine tops that hid the Martians. Said he, turning. "I was explaining these is valuable." "Death!" I shouted. "Death is coming! Death!" And, leaving him to digest that if he could, I hurried on after the artilleryman. At the corner I looked back. The soldier had left him, and he was still standing by his box with the pots of orchids on the lid of it, and staring vaguely over the trees. No one in Weybridge could tell us where the headquarters were established. The whole place was in such confusion as I had never seen in any town before. Carts, carriages everywhere, the most astonishing miscellany of conveyances and horseflesh. The respectable inhabitants of the place, men in golf and boating costumes, wives prettily dressed, were packing, riverside loafers energetically helping, children excited, and, for the most part, highly delighted at this astonishing variation of their Sunday experiences. In the midst of it all, the worthy vicar was very pluckily holding an early celebration, and his bell was jangling out above the excitement. I and the artilleryman, seated on the step of the drinking fountain, made a very passable meal upon what we had brought with us. Patrols of soldiers, here no longer hussars, but grenadiers in white, were warning people to move now or to take refuge in their cellars as soon as the firing began. We saw as we crossed the railway bridge that a growing crowd of people had assembled in and about the railway station, and the swarming platform was piled with boxes and packages. The ordinary traffic had been stopped, I believe, in order to allow the passage of troops and guns to Chertsey, and I have heard since that a savage struggle occurred for places in the special trains that were put on at a later hour. We remained at Weybridge until midday, and at that hour we found ourselves at the place near Shepperton Lock, where the way and... Darn it! Okay. That was a good streak. Made a while there. What in the dickens? Like aluminium. Okay. Everyone's having their fun. Wonderful. Okay. The way in the Thames? Yes. Okay, we remained at Weybridge. We remained at Weybridge until midday, and at that hour we found ourselves at the place near Shepperton Lock, where the Wey and Thames join. Part of the time we spent helping 2 old women to pack a little cart. The Wey has a treble mouth, and at this point boats are to be hired, and there was a ferry across the river. On the Shepperton side was an inn with a lawn, and beyond that tower of Shepperton Church, it has been replaced by a spire, rose above the trees. Here we found an excited and noisy crowd of fugitives. As yet the flight had not grown to a panic, But there were already far more people than all the boats going to and fro could enable to cross. People came panting along under heavy burdens. One husband and wife were even carrying a small outhouse door between them, with some of their household goods piled thereon. One man told us he meant to try to get away from Shepperton Station. There was a lot of shouting, and one man was even jesting. The idea people seemed to have here was that the Martians were simply formidable human beings who might attack and sack the town to be certainly destroyed in the end. Every now and then people would glance nervously across the way at the meadows towards Chertsey, but everything over there was still. Across the Thames, except just where the boats landed, everything was quiet, in vivid contrast with the Surrey side. The people who landed there from the boats went tramping off down the lane. The big ferry boat had just made a journey. 3 or 4 soldiers stood on the lawn of the inn, staring and jesting at the fugitives, without offering to help. The inn was closed, as it was now within prohibited hours. "What's that?" cried a boatman, and "Shut up, you fool!" said a man near me to a yelping dog. Then the sound came again, this time from the direction of Chertsey. A muffled thud, the sound of a gun. The fighting was beginning. Almost immediately, unseen batteries across the river to our right, unseen because of the trees, took up the chorus, firing heavily one after the other. A woman screamed. Everyone stood arrested by the sudden stir of battle. Near us, and yet invisible to us. Nothing was to be seen save flat meadows, cows feeding unconcernedly. Ooh, okay, we're gonna stop that one. Nothing was to be seen save flat meadows, cows feeding unconcernedly. Okay. Nothing was to be seen save flat meadows, cows feeding unconcernedly for the most part, and silvery pollard windows. Fuck! Okay, gotta delete that one. Not windows, willows. Okay. Nothing was to be seen save flat meadows, cows feeding unconcernedly for the most part, in silvery pollard willows, motionless in the warm sunlight. "The soldiers stop 'em," said a woman beside me, doubtfully. A haziness rose over the treetops. Then suddenly we saw a rush of smoke far, far away up the river, a puff of smoke that jerked up into the air and hung, and forthwith the ground heaved underfoot, and a heavy explosion shook the air, smashing 2 or 3 windows in the houses near, and leaving us astonished. "Here they are!" shouted a man in a blue jersey. "Yonder! Do you see them? Yonder!" Quickly, one after the other, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the armored Martians appeared, far away over the little trees, across the flat meadows that stretched towards Chertsey, and striding hurriedly towards the river. Little cowled figures they seemed at first, going with a rolling motion and as fast as flying birds. Then, advancing obliquely towards us, came a 5th. Their armored bodies glittered in the sun as they swept swiftly forward upon the guns, growing rapidly larger as they drew nearer. One on the extreme left, the remotest, that is, flourished a huge case high in the air, and the ghostly, terrible heat ray I had already seen on Friday night smote towards Chertsey and struck the town. At sight of these strange, swift, and terrible creatures, The crowd along by the water's edge seemed to me to be for a moment horror-struck. There was no screaming or shouting, but a silence. Then a hoarse murmur and a movement of feet, a splashing from the water. A man, too frightened to drop the portmanteau he carried on his shoulder, swung round and sent me staggering with a blow from the corner of his burden. A woman thrust at me with her hand and rushed past me. I, too, with the rush of the people. I turned to. I turned, too, with the rush of the people, but I was not too terrified for thought. The terrible heat ray was in mind. To get under water, that was it. "Get under water!" I shouted, unheeded. I faced about again and rushed towards the approaching Martian, rushed right down the gravelly beach and headlong into the water. Others did the same. A boatload of people putting back came leaping out as I rushed past. The stones under my feet were muddy and slippery, and the river was so low that I ran perhaps 20 feet, scarcely waist-deep. Then, as the Martian towered overhead, scarcely a couple of 100 yards away, I flung myself forward under the surface. The splashes of the people in the boats leaping into the river sounded like thunderclaps in my ears. People were landing hastily on both sides of the river. But the Martian machine took no more notice for the moment of the people running this way and that than a man would of the confusion of ants in a nest against which his foot has kicked. When, half suffocated, I raised my head above water, the Martian's hood pointed at the batteries that were still firing across the river, and as it advanced it swung loose what must have been the generator of the heat ray. In another moment it was on the bank, and in a stride wading halfway across. The knees of its foremost legs bent at the further bank, and in another moment it had raised itself to its full height again, close to the village of Shepperton. Forthwith the 6 guns, which, unknown to anyone on the right bank, had been hidden behind the outskirts of that village, fired simultaneously. The sudden near concussions, the last close upon the first, made my heart jump. The monster was already raising the case generating the heat ray as the first shell burst 6 yards above the hood. I gave a cry of astonishment. I saw and thought nothing of the other 4 Martian monsters. My attention was riveted upon the nearer incident. Simultaneously, 2 other shells burst in the air near the body as the hood twisted round in time to receive, but not in time to dodge, the 4th shell. The shell burst clean in the face of the thing. The hood bulged, flashed, was whirled off in a dozen tattered fragments of red flesh and glittering metal. "Hit!" shouted I, with something between a scream and a cheer. I heard answering shouts from the people in the water about me. I could have leapt out of the water with that momentary exultation. The decapitated colossus reeled like a drunken giant, but it did not fall over. It recovered its balance by a miracle, and no longer heeding its steps, and with the camera that fired the heat ray now rigidly upheld, it reeled swiftly upon Shepperton. The living intelligence, the Martian within the hood, was slain and splashed to the 4 winds of heaven, and the thing was now but a mere intricate device of metal whirling to destruction. It drove along in a straight line, incapable of guidance. It struck the tower of Shepperton Church, smashing it down as the impact of a battering ram might have done, swerved aside, blundered on, and collapsed with a tremendous impact into the river out of my sight. A violent explosion shook the air, and a spout of water, steam, mud, and shattered metal shot far up into the sky. As the camera of the heat ray hit the water, the latter had incontinently flashed into the stream. Into steam. Had incontinently flashed into steam. As the camera of the heat ray hit the water, the latter had incontinently flashed into steam. In another moment, a huge wave, like a muddy tidal bore, but almost scaldingly hot, came sweeping round the bend upstream. I saw people struggling shorewards, and heard their screaming and shouting faintly above the seething and roar of the Martian's collapse. For the moment, I heeded nothing of the heat, forgot the patent need of self-preservation. I splashed through the tumultuous water, pushing aside a man in black to do so, until I could see round the bend. Half a dozen deserted boats pitched aimlessly upon the confusion of the waves. The fallen Martian came into sight downstream, lying across the river, and for the most part submerged. Thick clouds of steam were pouring off the wreckage, and through the tumultuously whirling wisps I could see, intermittently and vaguely, the gigantic limbs churning the water and flinging a splash and spray of mud and froth into the air. The tentacles swayed and struck like living arms, and, save for the helpless purposelessness. It's too big of a word to just be throwing in there. Purposelessness. The tentacles swayed and struck like living arms, and save for the helpless purposelessness of these movements, it was as if some wounded thing struggled for life amidst the waves. Enormous quantities of a ruddy brown fluid were spurting up in noisy jets out of the machine. My attention was diverted from the sight by a furious yelling, like that of the thing called a siren in our manufacturing towns. A man, knee-deep near the towing path, shouted inaudibly to me and pointed. Looking back, I saw the other Martians advancing with gigantic strides down the riverbank from the direction of Chertsey. The Shepperton guns spoke this time unavailingly. At that, I ducked at once underwater, and, holding my breath until movement was an agony, blundered painfully along under the surface as long as I could. The water was in a tumult about me, and rapidly growing hotter. When for a moment I raised my head to take breath, and throw the hair and water from my eyes, the steam was rising in a whirling white fog that at first hid the Martians altogether. The noise was deafening. Then I saw them, dimly, colossal figures of gray, magnified by the mist. They had passed by me, and two were stooping over the frothing, tumultuous ruins of their comrade. The third and fourth stood beside him in the water, one perhaps 200 yards from me, the other towards Laleham. Laleham? Laleham. Laleham? Porpoiselessness. Porpoiselessness. Hey, that's porpoiselessness. Laleham. Laleham? Laleham? Laleham. Laylam. That does not sound like Laleham. Okay. Fuck Domino's, dude. Domino's ad while I'm trying to pronounce a word. Come on. can pronounce name.
No, it broke for me.
No, French fries. You're
Laylam.
Laylam. Like chop 'em. Laylam like chop 'em. Okay. Here we go. The third and fourth stood beside him in the water, one perhaps 200 yards from me, the other towards Laylam. The generators of the heat rays waved high, and the hissing beams smote down this way and that. The air was full of sound, a deafening and confusing conflict of noises, the clangorous din of the Martians, the crash of the falling houses, the thud of trees, fences, sheds, flashing into flame, and the crackling and roaring of fire. Dense black smoke was leaping up to mingle with the steam from the river, and as the heat ray went to and fro over Weybridge, its impact was marked by flashes of incandescent white that gave place at once to a smoky dance of lurid flames. The nearer houses still stood intact, awaiting their fate, shadowy, faint, and pallid in the stream, with the fire behind them going to and fro. For a moment, perhaps, I stood there, breast high in the almost boiling water, dumbfounded at my position, hopeless of escape. Through the reek I could see the people who had been with me in the river scrambling out of the water, through the reeds, like little frogs hurrying through grass from the advance of a man, or running to and fro in utter dismay on the towing path. Then suddenly the white flashes of the heat ray came leaping towards me. The houses caved in as they dissolved at its touch and darted out flames. The trees changed to fire with a roar. It flickered up and down the towing path, licking off the people who ran this way and that, and came down to the water's edge not 50 yards from where I stood. It swept across the river to Shepperton, and the water in its track rose in a boiling wheel crested with steam. I turned shoreward. In another moment, the huge wave, well nigh at the boiling point, had rushed upon me. I screamed aloud and scalded, half-blinded, agonized. I staggered to... Fuck that one up. In another moment, the huge wave, well nigh at the boiling point, had rushed upon me. I screamed aloud and scalded, half-blinded, agonized. I staggered through the leaping, hissing water towards the shore. Had my foot stumbled, it would have been the end. I fell helplessly, in full sight of the Martians, upon the broad, bare, gravelly spit that runs down to mark the angle of the way in Thames. I expected nothing but death. I have a dim memory of the foot of a Martian coming down within a score of yards of my head, driving straight into the loose gravel, whirling it this way and that, and lifting again. Of a long suspense, and then of the four carrying the debris of their comrade between them, now clear, and then presently faint, through a veil of smoke, receding interminably, as it seemed to me, across the vast space of river and meadow. And then, very slowly, I realized that by a miracle, I had escaped. Woo! That's a chapter! Alright! It was a long one. That was a long one. That was like a 20-minute chapter, at least. Holy moly. Okay, now I have to move the webcam over here. So that's what I'm gonna do. just unplugged. Damn. Okay, here we go. Alright, so Yeti's functional now. And I just gotta turn the... I gotta turn the thing on. I gotta turn the webcam on. Come on, webcam. Activate. Deactivate.
Money!
Money! Oh, money! Money! Woo! I don't know where from. You gotta give me a second. I think it's funny to you guys for me to not know who I need to thank and whatnot. Okay. Alright. If I can just turn the webcam on. Great. Hi. We did it. Woo! Okay. Okay, now I open speech chat and I see money. Okay. I am gonna build dominoes. They owe me. Thank you, Nemo. Thank you for the 5. I appreciate you. The yeah. The sound effect is very funny. It's very fun. I fear I may have read Crown to sleep. I think that may be a reality. Okay. So we're gonna turn the wheel on, and then from there, I don't know, something. If I can turn on a second, tab, that would be wonderful. Where do you want the weight, Nemo? I'm gonna go ahead and get speech chat up on here while I'm waiting to hear what you want. Give it a troll gun. Troll gun. You really got his ass. You got his ass there. Thank you, Nemo. I appreciate you. We're gonna do some rolls as well. We're gonna see. Actually, I need to figure out the Twitch thing as well. There's a couple of things that have to happen in order for us to move forward. We're turning the wheel back on here. Obviously, it's quite large. Alright. Let's minimize that, The wheel has to be less big, I think. Sorry, wheel. You gotta be less big. Okay. Let's go. Fucking Zootopia 2, dude. Alright. Blam. Right? Yeah, it looks alright. I think that's fine. So I'll scroll down on the wheel, get it lined up. That does not look fine, actually. That, because it's cut off. What's going on here? Why? Because it hasn't been like this in the past. Hello? Hello? What has happened? What? Okay, well, and now the wheel's off. Fuck, dude. This is uncool. I don't think I like this very much. Because it's supposed to fit like so. I'm just going to have to zoom out, I think. Yeah, that works. That's so weird. Why? Come on, just get it perfect. I think that works. Alright, wheels taken care of. Put it on Assassin's Creed 3. Okay. Alright, AC secondary wheel. I think I'm gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to see if we have the last Assassin's Creed wheel. I don't think we have the last Assassin's Creed wheel. Shit, dude. Okay, well, I think we're just gonna have to make a new one. It's very, very annoying. AC wheel. It should be back to 1 now, but that'll make it 6 with 5 AC 3. 5 dash AC 3. Okay. Nice. Crown the goat. Crown the goat. Lucifer, what's good with you? Get an ad blocker. Yeah, I've got an ad blocker. I just disable it sometimes. Extensions. Fucking... Okay, evidently I don't have an ad blocker. I do on a different login, but just not here, I guess. Rip. Remove. Okay. Well, in terms of ad blocker, no ad blocker. Okay. Come on. Just click on it. Just click on it. There we go. And we'll move it. No. This moves over, right? And that moves over. And I think that's better. Okay. All right. Great. I think we're taken care of there. I'm doing just fine, Lucifer. I'm doing just fine. A-okay, even. Ugh. Okay. All right. So we got a chapter recorded. I've got speech chat about to turn on. Soon as that loads. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Twitch. Apparently, people lost mods, like we lost mod privileges on Twitch or something to that effect. I don't know, but something's going on over there that I'm supposed to fix. Speech chat should be up and running now. Okay, I'm gonna turn that on.
EM on board. And French flavor. Yeah.
Ugly_crown. I think you just need to give fries more.
Great.
And French flavor. Twitch is anti-communism.
That might be real. That might be real and true. Okay. Twitch.
Lucifer_Morningstar 767. Nice.
Nice. Okay. So, in terms...
Do I need to be on Twitch for you to give it to me, son?
I don't know.
Monkey time.
Monkey time. I gotta enter the code from my mobile phone.
3316. ID Gaff.
I'd gaff.
Ugly_crown. Weed gaff.
Weed gaff.
And French flavor. ELL just go on.
Weed gaff.
And French flavor. Vegan 30 just go on. Why do I sound different on YT? French fry 40. French fry
7 p.m. EST is sound check. So CST. Okay, I'm ending stream around 5:30 tonight. So CST. Just okay. I'm ending stream around 5:30.
Just so everyone knows.
Just okay. I'm ending stream around 5:30.
Just so everyone knows.
Just okay. I'm ending stream
So
around
we're all aware.
5:30. Just okay. I'm ending stream
So
around
we're all
5:30.
aware.
Why is audio double? No. Why is audio double? No. Why is audio double? No.
Ugly_crown.
No.
It has like an audio infinity.
No.
It has like an audio.
This is an echo chamber.
Oh, it's because I have Twitch open.
French 330.
It's because I had Twitch open. I'm sorry. I'm working on shit.
14.
IV_crown. Fucking softly.
Fucking crown.
Vegan 30. Good shit son. French free 14.
Okay. So we can't call it a 1 hour setup stream because I already did something today. Right?
French free 14.
Okay.
IV_crown. Sadly indeed.
Um,
IV_crown. Was that a pun?
okay. So 3-gun crown. No, 3-gun's modded and crown's modded. Both of them have the moderator
French free
privileges.
13.
French fry is modded. Okay. So we're good. So we're in there.
30. IV got the sword.
Yeah. We're in there like swimwear.
French free 13.
Yay! Okay. So we do a little stream. Folks, the last time we spun the wheel, it was for Assassin's Creed 4. And we never played it. So what do we think? What do we think about East? Yeah, I gotta wrap at 5:30 today. Randy dandy ho! Here's the vibe generally. Yeah. What's happening before? Or I might just reduce the decibel fucking capture here. Or I gotta just put on the filter. Alright, noise suppression's on. Woo! Yeah, I don't think that's Oh, actually I can't yet because I have to buy freaking those tickets for my wife. Can I get an answer? Chat? Did you guys tell me if you want this or if you want something else? I'll wait. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll let y'all think about
from starting ID watch. Lucifer-Morningstar 767.
Like Skyrim. I play Skyrim. No, I'd love to play Skyrim. Skyrim would be great. But I'll also play Assassin's Creed.
I can hear softly the music is too fine.
French 314.
So the music is just too loud. That's what we're saying. Is this a better split?
French 314.
Okay, so
Better.
great.
French 314.
So what I asked earlier, I got mad because nobody fucking said anything. You just couldn't hear me. So what I asked earlier was
Gun 30. Please just listen to this music for the stream.
do you want to play this?
Everyone interrupt.
Edmund McCain. If it is too loud, you are too old.
Type shit.
At Lucifer-Morningstar 767. ORRRGOW. French 314.
Ugly_crown. Yes, we do.
Free Gun 30. Let us play Skyrim.
Okay, so I have 2 for Skyrim. What does Nemo want? What does Crown want? What does Lucifer want? And any lurkers, if there are lurkers, but I don't think there are.
_crown. I'm happy with anything as long as you actually play the game.
Fuck you, Crown. Fuck you, Crown. Thank you, Nemo. Thank you. Money!
Unlike other times.
Money!
French 314. At Lucifer-Morningstar 767. Any story-based game works for me. Free Gun 30.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe play anything below.
It sounds like we're leaning towards Skyrim. So I'll download Skyrim. But if we're gonna be sassy about fucking playing Skyrim, then I'll just do Black Flag. Shout out Tristan. Fucking my goat, my king.
French 314.
Okay. Woo, we're gonna play Skyrim together. Woo! Yeah, maybe play anything, bro.
Edmund McCain. Skyrim no attack run. Free Gun 30. Play Smash Bros.
Smash Bros. If I play Smash Bros, it has to be specifically Brawl for the Subspace Emissary story mode, Because I don't feel like Ultimate.
If downloading breaks something, I will peacefully study and do nothing violent or rude.
Well, actually, what I want to do is play Fallout after watching the most recent Fallout. That's what I really want. But instead, I'll play Skyrim. $70. Oh.
Baldur's Gate next stream, maybe.
For fucking $70?
Does SSB even have story mode anymore?
Ugly_crown. NVL.
I mean, the last like the last Smash that had
Freegun 30. Play an actual game like Ghost of Wokai.
so
Hetman
true,
the
my
game.
king.
Is that the special edition?
It might be. Question mark? It is the special edition.
French.
I don't know what that means.
Ugly_crown. Actual.
At Lucifer_Morningstar 767. UNCPLZ play something we been yapping for 40 minutes.
Lucifer, you missed it. I read a book. I read a chapter of fucking War of the Worlds before this. You just missed it. Matter of fact, while this is loading, I'm gonna edit 10. Or no, not 10, 11. I'm gonna edit 11 and go ahead and schedule that for posting. Just because we've still got
Professional.
yeah, it was professional yapping. Come on. Okay, so I'm gonna edit this, and y'all will tell me once the download has finished, right? You'll tell me.
Edmund McCain. I got gifted Baldur S Gate during it SEA phase and got the gifts from special edition for free. Note Wort with TBH.
Not worth it. Wow. First time I've heard that. All right. DaVinci Resolve. Y'all want to watch me edit? It's not going to be very fun, I don't think. Oh.
French Free 14. Ja.
I'm waiting for DaVinci Resolve to open.
Edmund McCain. They are all items from Divinity Original sind 2.
That doesn't mean anything to me. Everything you just said means nothing to me. All right. Untitled Project 16. Okay. Let's get everything I recorded yesterday in here.
Edmund McCain.
Here you go, guys. Type shit.